All right, today we're going to talk about something I think a lot of us feel deep down. What does it really actually mean to live a life that goes beyond what's, well, expected?
You know that feeling, right? Where you're doing all the things you're supposed to do, you're checking all the right boxes, but it just feels like you're running in place. You're putting in the effort, but the scenery just never ever changes.
So that feeling, it's basically a clash with what we call the status quo. And look, before we can even think about moving beyond it, we've got to get a handle on what we're up against. So let's talk about the comfort of the quo.
For a lot of us, this is what it looks like, right? The good old 9 to 5. It's a rhythm, it's predictable, and yeah, there's a certain safety in that. No doubt about it, there's a real comfort in knowing what's coming.
But, that comfort can have a catch, and it often shows up as the Sunday scaries. It's that little pit in your stomach on Sunday evening that's basically your gut telling you, hey, maybe what's coming up this week isn't really lighting you up.
And what's driving all of this? It's what I call the shoulds. You should go for that promotion, or you should want this kind of house, or you should just be happy with what you have. It's like we're following these invisible scripts, and half the time we don't even realize we're just reading lines from somebody else's story. Okay, so let's get a clear definition here. The status quo, it's not some evil villain. It's just the way things are. It's the sum of our routines, what society expects, and all those unwritten rules that kind of set the default mode for our lives.
But then, something happens. It's like this little spark, right? A quiet voice that whispers, hey, maybe this default setting isn't the only option. Which brings us to a really important turning point, that feeling of more.
And this feeling is just captured so perfectly in this phrase, being passionate about life, knowing that you can do more. And let's be clear, this has nothing to do with being ungrateful. It's about tapping into that feeling that, you've got more in the tank.
And it's really important to see this feeling not as a problem you have to fix, but as a signal you need to listen to. It's that inner voice, It's not yelling at you, it's just whispering, hey, what if? What if there's something else out there? Just hearing that voice, that's a massive first step. The next part is actually taking that feeling and turning it into a real conscious shift in how you think. So the big question is, how do we even begin to realize that potential?
Well, the good news is, you don't need some huge, dramatic life change. It all starts small. Step 1, just acknowledge the feeling is there. Don't judge it, just notice it. Step 2, start questioning the defaults. Like, is this really what I want? And finally, step 3, just let yourself explore just one what if.
And that one little what if, it can be like a key that unlocks a door you didn't even know was there, a door to a much bigger room. And this is exactly how we start to see things differently. We start living in a bigger world. And this brings us to such a simple but honestly profound reminder. The world is big. It's so easy to forget that, isn't it? When our daily routine becomes our entire universe. But really, that routine is just one tiny little corner of a huge, massive world of possibilities.
And that's the whole point, really. It's all about shifting your perspective. The status quo, it keeps your view pretty limited, right? You're on a familiar path, you know where it's going. But the second you decide to look beyond that, whoa, your view just expands. You start seeing new paths, new discoveries, and honestly, unlimited potential.
All right, so let's bring this all together, because this isn't just some philosophical idea. This is a direct, personal invitation for you to look at your life beyond that default setting.
Look, if there's only one thing you take away from all this, please let it be this one idea. It's simple, but it's so powerful. Life is more than just the status quo. And that leads me to one last question for you. And hey, you don't need to have the answer right this second. The point is just to have the curiosity, the courage to even ask it. So, just think about it for a second. What does your beyond look like?